You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
Opinions expressed are those of the show host, not WPSL or Port St. Lucie broadcasters. Any reproduction or reuse of this program without the written consent of WPSL is strictly prohibited. And now, welcome to the Restoration America Home Show, putting America back together one home at a time. Your calls are welcome at 772-340-1590. And now here's your host, Glenn Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's the Restoration America Home Show. It's Monday, the 21st of October, and wow, is it beautiful outside. I think we earned it after the weekend we had. We have a busy morning here at WPSL, WSTU. We want to welcome all the listeners this morning. We hope you had a great weekend. I'll tell you, we earn those weekends. Everybody that works that long week, we know what it is to be thankful for the weekend. So we're here this morning. We've got Cliff. He's making his way out of here as quick as he can. I see him sneaking out. Amber, good morning. How are you this morning?
Great. How are you?
How was the weekend?
Busy, long, and hot.
Oh, boy. You had to dance between the raindrops. They kept threatening all day Saturday. It looked like it was going to come. So I kind of made my plans around, it's going to rain on Saturday. Well, this Saturday morning I woke up, it was beautiful outside. A little cloudy cover on the east and all the way to the west, but nothing around us. Did you guys get wet Saturday?
It was intermittent. It was
not so bad then, right?
It would rain a little bit and then stop, so it was bringing all of our RV.
All of your RV activities together.
Inside, outside. So it was, an interesting dance around the sprinkles. But other than that, it was pretty nice.
And you, Greg, how are you this morning?
Doing well.
It was a good weekend, I would hope.
Yeah, we were up in Daytona with IRSC's basketball team, and we split a twin bill with Daytona State. So
very nice.
Yeah, we're a little less than 2 weeks away from the opening tip-off of the season.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys are always on the move. You and your wife don't stop, man. You drive some miles, huh?
Well, and Carol, by the way, speaking of weather on Saturday, was running in the 5K for breast cancer.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah,
that is wonderful.
It was a great track.
Is that her first time?
No. She's done this for about, I think, 5 years.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
We applaud her.
I drove that far once.
You drove that far once or twice, huh?
I've ran a few 5Ks. But
have you?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing the Disney Princess Half Marathon.
Ooh.
In February.
Well, and that's something to be said about running a marathon. I mean, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of training, I'm assuming, and at least some practice prior to make it right. So you say she's been doing it for 5 years.
Well, she walks. She doesn't speed walk.
Listen, I don't go any faster than walking unless there's an earthquake or a storm coming.
Chasing you.
Something's got to be chasing me for me to run these days. I'm sure a lot of my listeners out there today. Again, this is Glenn Smith coming to you live from the Restoration America Home Show this morning. We'd like to welcome you if you just joined the show. I'm sure you enjoyed the swap shop as we do daily. If you have something that you want to get rid of that's just sitting in the house, and look, if you haven't touched it in a couple years, put it on the market, sell it. Get the money and buy something you're going to use currently. Give the swap shop a call. Cliff has been here for 40-plus years. We're showing a little bit of age now, but he has been here for 40-plus years, bringing you the swap shop and doing it in a way that's just a one-of-a-kind way. We love Cliff, and our prayers go out to Cliff in his upcoming days as he's got some medical adventures ahead of him. We have Nicholas, my son, in the show this morning. We invited him to come in and sit in and talk with us a little bit about, he is actually went out on a new adventure. He is 20 years old and grew up here in St. Lucie County. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we wanted Nick to come in. He is actually attending a school here in St. Lucie County. We're going to let Nick tell you the career that he has chosen and the path he's en route to endure. Excuse me.
I've actually chosen to be a firefighter.
And what made you choose this? What made you say, I'm going to risk my life?
Wanted to be able to make a difference and hopefully be able to make a change in somebody's life one day and be able to help people out every day of my life.
So you're at IRSC then, at the Fire Academy?
Yes,
right?
sir.
Cool. Good
Yes,
stuff.
And he's in what week was third week?
Third week, going on to my fourth.
Fourth week. He says the program, he's in there with several guys from the military, which hats off to all of our military veterans out there today and every day for that matter that allow us our freedom. But moving forward, Nicholas was explaining to me the other day that when they do this PT, Greg, it is extreme, up these stairs, down the stairs. How many flights of stairs was it?
It's 6 stories, so it's 12 flights.
12 flights. And you guys are carrying how much gear on? He was trying to explain to me the other day the extent of how extreme this is. And the guys that were in the military were saying, this is harder than boot camp. This is
I was
a
going to
real
say,
aggressive program.
is it different than basic training?
It comes down really to everything you're doing with about an extra 60 pounds on you. So it's an extra weight barrier on everything you do, and there is no training really to get you prepared for what you're going into. You really don't know what you're going into until you get there.
This is men and women, right?
Correct.
The same?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
How many in the program?
There's 23 of us as of right now in my class.
Wow. That's great.
And as you've started to get into this, I mean, obviously you've been very surprised by a lot of how aggressive the program is. Is there one part of this that excites you more than the other that you're looking forward to as far as the training and what's... Folks, he wants to work right here in St. Lucie County. He wants to he grew up here as his dad. We had many conversations, and as we do with our kids, what are you going to do for a living? What do you want to do for a living? What's important to you? And, as he explained to me that he wants to do something that's worth more than money. And as we went on, he's come to this conclusion that working with the fire department in St. Lucie County's program, hats off to our St. Lucie County firefighters today. Would you like to agree with me, Amber? What do you say?
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to know these guys put their lives on the line every day. How about just standing in traffic trying to extract somebody? There's people not paying attention. How many accidents we see on a daily basis? People just rubbernecking. Folks, next time you go by an accident, keep looking forward. Don't look side to side. You cause a serious... It looks like the Northerners have arrived here lately. I get on US 1 and I'm having a little... Now, mind you, we're glad you're here for the record. Just let me pump the brakes. We're glad you're here.
Open your wallets.
We see... Yeah, exactly. We see you on US 1 and all of the main thoroughfares. I am thankful for Crosstown Parkway. I can tell you Floresta has relieved a little bit. Prima Vista is still in operation. I thought you were telling me that was going to close soon.
It's not closing, but they're going to be working on it for the next 2 years.
Okay, so they're going to take
DOT.
it in sections then, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. So, Nick, tell us what your schedule's like over there at the fire department. We're going to just take a minute with this. As this program, folks, I want you to know the people that are taking you in the ambulance, not only are they extremely educated, but their program is extremely strenuous. Go ahead, Nick.
I would tell you we go to school 6 days a week. It's Monday through Thursday. Every day from 6 to 10, I'm in the night class, attempting to be able to still work throughout the days. And then we have school all day on Saturdays from 7:30 to 4:30. And that's the days that we do our main training, our main PT, because we have a full day to be able to get everything in.
So ultimately, the class is how long? How long going to night school will it take you?
It'll take me right at 6 months, but that's with Christmas break in the middle.
Correct. And the education that you just recently went to, what was the classes that you just finished?
My EMT certification.
And is that also done right here at the college, or?
They do it at the college. I did it on an outside schooling. It was actually called Treasure Coast Medical Institute. And that program was right at 3 months.
Wow. And what'd you think of the EMT program that St. Lucie County has to offer? I mean, this is real life, working on people. I'd like you to tell a little story, your first experience when you were able to give the CPR to the gentleman when you came off the truck. You got to give the guy CPR doing what, coming through the ER?
The EMT program was by far the best thing that I ever did in my life. I learned things that I never thought that I would know. And I definitely feel any situation in which that I was to walk into, I'm very well prepared now after going through that program. And there is nothing like when somebody's life's in your hands, you have to react and you have to know what you're doing, and it has to be full of knowledge. You can't just go in and not know what you're walking into, and there is nothing like it. There is absolutely nothing like it.
So I say all that to say this, folks. If you're sitting there today and your children, your son, your daughter, or even yourself considering the fire division or the fire department or anything as a service aide, these people are such selfless people that take a position. It's like school teachers. They take such a selfless position and put themselves out there to try to share the good word. School teachers, they don't get to teach from their heart anymore. The fire department, that never changes. It's always from their heart. It's a brotherhood. The teachers are teaching to a test. God bless all the teachers out there. I think you guys should have a paid vacation every year, obligated. School teachers earn their money. But I'll tell you, the fire department keeping us safe on a daily basis, all of the public service aides here in St. Lucie County, Greg, this industry has grown so drastically here. Our town was 80 cops in Port St. Lucie at one point, and I know there's north of 350 now. And looking at the departments growing, back when Gary Wilson was at the city of Port St. Lucie in the early 90s, and all those guys have all grown with the market here. And I've watched St. Lucie County. What is our population now? You just recently had reminded me, rough number.
Well, it's over 200 now, and supposedly by 2030 is going to be somewhere in the vicinity. They claim around 500. I think that's a little out of the
Wow,
realm
I
of
really hope
possibility,
not.
but-
I hope not. Let's say that. I hope not. So to finish up with the fire school thing for just a moment, Nick. So from beginning of EMTs all the way to getting your fire certification between the two classes, just for anybody that's considering an opportunity like this, it is an amazing market. There's amazing opportunities, and the retirement side of it is a whole nother conversation. But I wanted to bring him on today just to share, because I know there's a ton of young people out there. They talk to their parents, and they trust what their parents say, and this is a good direction to send your young people, knowing that I've watched a massive change in my son's mentality of, can I help somebody? Every turn he makes, he's looking to try to assist somebody. So I thought that if you could help somebody today, Restoration America Home Show wants to challenge you to something today. If there's a neighbor across the street, there's somebody that you just know could use a little help. It doesn't matter if you bring up the newspaper to their house for them. It doesn't have to be major. But if we would start right here today, trying to do something nice for people, and it doesn't mean go tremendously out of your way. We're not trying to inconvenience you. We're just trying to bring kindness. Folks, we're all going to live here together. I was reading this weekend some of the news and the media. What am I going to talk about on Monday? Listen, I don't know that I want to repeat a bunch of the negativity that's being spoken about in our country. From the politics all the way back, it's starting to become comical, and it's not even factual. So we don't know what to believe and what we don't. So I am going to be the last person to share with you on the radio anything about politics, anything that creates us this comical aggravation in which we continue to endure. So, Greg, with that said, we watched Texas this weekend take a heck of a storm. I see Texas took a tornado yesterday.
Dallas, yep.
Dallas took a beating, and this Nestor is the name of the hour, if you would.
A pop-up storm.
And you know what's crazy is it was just all of a sudden, and then they started to follow it, and then they sent the plane, and I thought to myself, this is not another Hurricane Michael. I was in Panama City last week. I missed you guys. Again, we have business back and forward in Panama City since Hurricane Michael, and when we were getting calls on Saturday asking, was Restoration America in standby in Panama City, which we have staff there still working, but to start running emergency calls, no, we were not prepared for that in Panama City. We were doing restoration work when we were there, not after the response was taken care of back in October of last year.
How's the restoration going up there from last year?
It's interesting you ask. I was going to take a bunch of pictures, but I thought to myself, they really can't appreciate the pictures. But if I could give you a description of a church of probably 2,500 I passed last week, that is on a main road there, that the front of the church is still wide open and exposed. So either it's in insurance litigation or something's got, maybe it's got to be demoed, but structurally, I looked at hundreds of buildings last week, Craig. It blows my mind because it's still a year plus, and Amber talks to these people on a daily basis from Panama City, clearing up invoices or discussion of future opportunity, and I can tell you that the amount of damage, I would say there's still 40, maybe 38% of the structures still affected commercially. A lot of commercial plazas where there were 40 businesses in there, they're gone. The roof is still off the building. So, I stayed in a Hilton last week up in Panama City, and what's amazing is for a standard room, you couldn't find anything less than $220 a night. It was like, I'm just trying to get to
little redlining there, maybe.
Yes.
Okay,
So you got me. So as I had to travel 40 miles more to get a room that was somewhat cheaper on an Airbnb. Even in town, there was no Airbnbs to have because the people are living in the houses that are there. So I was speaking to a realtor, and she was saying that she thinks the market is actually plateaued there because when people lost their homes in the beginning, they had max claim. They got their money right away. So they were writing them a check on max claim. They would go buy another house, their home would be demoed. They get to keep the property and or forfeit according to the insurance company, whatever the negotiation was. Most of the time they keep the property. Well, you got to know that in these positions, these people that get max money, they have the ability to just go buy a new house. Well, all those new houses that were out drove the real estate market higher in these particular markets. So this young lady that I was speaking to, she's a very well-known realtor in that market, and her husband's a contractor, so they get to see both sides of the market. And she was telling me, Glenn, the market has not only plateaued, but started to go backwards a little bit because we grew so fast. You remember back when the market was going so fast, and then all of a sudden we fell out. It's kind of the way she said it felt there now, because all those people that got all that money, they've spent it, and they spent the premium to get those houses, so the comps are a little higher. So as the people have tried to follow those comps, it's not effective. It's more negotiation than what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the coaches at Chipola College, which is up near there, and they said, yeah, their downtown is still decimated, and he just said, we've repaired the college buildings, but he said downtown is still a mess.
In that Mariana area, I drove on my way out.
That's it.
Yeah, I drove on my way out through that main road, and it's about 30 miles an hour the speed limit, and it's a split road, so one's going out and one's coming in. And I can tell you, the brick buildings that I seen on the ground last time, I still see all the rubble and all on the ground, but I see where they've tried to patch some holes in this. I don't know how you patch a 40-foot hole unless you're going to put the brick back up, but Nick was up there with me at one point, and he was just amazed that actual brick, was laying on the ground, and this wind was that strong. Folks, I would encourage you to know that when they call a hurricane or a storm, it's definitely not something to take lightly. And here in Florida, we become immune sometimes, I think. Amber, we talk to people on a daily basis that, what about my hurricane shutters, or what about this, or what do we do before and what do we do after? That's where you need to have Restoration America involved, where we can come in, give you a structured plan. No matter what the catastrophic event that's taking place, bad things are going to happen, folks. No matter what, nobody can control it. It's out of our control. So to worry about it, no way. Don't worry about it. Call Restoration America at 772-335-1600. You must know that Amber, the girls in the office, are always there to help you. My name, again, is Glenn. I am the owner of the company, and I'm coming to you here from this radio station to say, let us help you. Mold. Water. You have a little water leak you're concerned about. The moisture barrier under your trailer. You're considering a remodel in one of the rooms of your house, concerned of the process and how do you contain the mold, how do you contain dust. Listen, we have dust-free construction. We utilize air scrubbers, which is a negative air pressure product. So, as we produce this show every week, we need you to know that we're not just a restoration company. We're your neighbor. We're locals. We operate from Village Green Drive down by Spanish Lakes and Savannah Club. So to all you in Savannah Club, Spanish Lakes area this morning, we say hello and good morning. We're looking for you to consider. If you have something going on, you have something that you see coming up for construction, let us know. Call 335-1600. Again, in Port St. Lucie, giving you the ability to have an answer.
This is for Nick. Of course, Klutzmeyer here.
Go ahead.
It was a couple of years ago, and had a water leak in the kitchen, and I come racing around and slipped and fell on the tile. Paramedics come out and take care of me. It was great, and I said, "Well, you just take me to St. Lucie Medical Center." She says, "No, sir. You're going straight to the trauma unit." And so, it was amazing. The paramedics were incredible.
That's good. That's awesome to hear.
Absolutely incredible.
Those guys out there, they work hard. And
Yes,
I'll tell
they
you, when that bell goes off, he was telling me, what is the timeline you have to get your clothes on and get out the door? What did you say the practice was?
St. Lucie County, from what I've heard, is 60 seconds to be dressed and in the truck ready to get to the job.
So from the time of bell, so the time of ring, 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 if you look at your clock and count
Wow.
60 seconds, you're going to get your clothes on, your boots on, all your safety gear, and be in the truck with the whistle blowing and ready to go. That's quick. I mean, he was trying to tell me. I'm sorry?
Especially in the middle of the night, trying to get yourself
Absolutely.
awake.
Hey, I'm not a morning person for the record, folks. I don't know about you, but I got a feeling that it's one of the qualifications to firemen that they must be morning people. So again, Amber, when we get back, when we get back from session here, we're going to go to break here momentarily, but we want to hear a little bit more about the adventure with the recovery and the restoration of the mobile home. Motorhome, trailer, it was a trailer.
Lovely
pole barn.
RV.
It was
RV.
a classy, drivable motorhome.
So get the word classy, folks. Please do not miss the adjectives here. We want to make sure you're on board. Amber is spoken. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to thank you for tuning into WPSL, WSTU. All of our callers down south. Next week, we're going to encourage you to call us from WSTU. We want to know that you hear us out there. We want to hear if you have any restoration questions. Insurance claim that's taken place in the last 12 months in your house. Is there something that you've had taken place that's been a claim or something against your insurance? You want to make sure you didn't leave money on the table. You call Restoration America or give us a call here on the show. My number on Restoration America is 772-335-1600. And we want to encourage you to know that every Monday at 10 o'clock, we are here with Greg and Amber. And usually Cliff's in here. From what I understand, they're taking Cliff out of here. When does he leave? When is he going to be out?
We're not sure yet.
You guys suspended him for what?
He's still.
I better not get that started. Just joking for the record. All those that just heard part of it, he's just joking. So when does he leave, Greg? Is it soon?
Well, it's tentative for the
I see.
28th. So
All right.
we'll see.
Hopefully everything will go smooth with that.
Yep.
Folks, we're getting ready to go to break, but after the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the RV. We want to talk about the quote-unquote Texas tornado, the Dallas area, the way that was affected just briefly, and how that storm moved in the same direction Michael did. We want to thank you this morning for tuning in to Restoration America's Home Show. We also have a call coming in after the break. It's somebody that we have worked for. We wanted to ask them some questions and share it with you. Somebody we've worked for that has had great success with Restoration America and the health of their children. What do you say, Greg? We're about there going into the break.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Restoration America Home Show. See you after the break.
Let's take a break for the Florida News Network. We'll be back in 3.
This is Florida News Now.
The Florida Senate is opening hearings today to consider the reinstatement of ousted Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel. But the father of a Parkland school shooting victim is strongly opposed.
He's a total shameless person with no integrity, and he has no right to lead in Broward County because the whole community wouldn't be safe.
On Fox and Friends, Meadow Pollock's father, Andrew, said Israel's failed leadership led to the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High that killed 17 people and wounded 17 more. A deadly shooting at a Broward County 7-Eleven early this morning. Deputies say multiple customers and employees were fighting inside the store in Oakland Park. The fight then carried over into the parking lot where a 57-year-old clerk was shot in the head and died later at a hospital. Several people, including the suspected shooter, have been detained, but no arrests have been announced. Jurors who found an Orlando man guilty of murdering his pregnant ex-girlfriend are reconvening today for the penalty phase of the trial. Markeith Lloyd could get the death penalty. On the stand, Lloyd claimed that the murder of Sade Dixon was not premeditated.
Everything happened just like that.
And were you just shooting wildly?
I was just shooting.
Just wildly?
I was just shooting where she was coming from.
Lloyd will remain in custody while he waits to go on trial for the murder of an Orlando police lieutenant. Florida gas prices are drifting lower again after rising 8 cents early last week. AAA says pump prices have declined 1 cent per day the past 4 days. Today's statewide average is $2.46 a gallon. In the NFL Sunday, the Jaguars offense scored only one touchdown, but they won at Cincinnati 27-17. Jacksonville improving to 3-4. The Miami Dolphins are 0-6 after losing at Buffalo. With Florida's news, I'm Alan Spector.
This is FNN, the Florida News Network.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month or less. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway included at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/access now to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes taxes and fees. Includes 1 terabyte of data per month. Data overage charges apply. For details about data allowance, go to att.com/internet-usage. Geographic and service restrictions apply.
When disaster strikes, whether by Mother Nature, fire, or water, the last thing you want to do is go back and forth with your insurance company. So don't get rocked by your home's structural loss. Call Restoration America to represent you with your insurance claim. 772-335-1600. Restoration America is your local stormwater and loss repair provider. They have the knowledge the insurance companies don't want you to know. Restoration America is here for the people and are your local emergency response team. Call them now for a pre-storm agreement so you'll be guaranteed to have the contractors and Restoration America working for you at 772-335-1600. Restoration America, putting America back together, one home at a time. No one plans, wants, or desires to have their home destroyed by water, fire, or Mother Nature's wrath. But when disasters strike, call Restoration America 7 days a week, 24 hours a day at 772-335-1600. Whether it's water, fire, or mold, call Restoration America. No job is too small. For a free estimate, call Amber at the local Port St. Lucie office for details. 772-335-1600.
You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Restoration America Home Show coming at you on Monday morning, the 21st of October. Wow, where did October go? It's gone again. I think we just said this last month in September at about this time. Like, wow, it's already the end of October. Approaching Halloween. Keep an eye out for those young people on the street. We're about 10 days away. It's just around the corner already.
And the Stewart Air Show on the 1st and the 2nd.
You know, Greg, you are a plethora of information over there when it comes to events. He just remembers the spur of his hat. What day is that air show again? Say it for us.
Saturday and Sunday. They had the flight party on Friday, which we've never attended in all these years.
It had invitation, I'm sure.
Because but always busy. So I'll miss the first day, but WSTU, WPSL have a booth there, and we have had by the flight line for 20 some odd years. So it's
that's
very
pretty
cool.
exciting.
It is very cool.
The Stewart Air Show is so great because you see so much. Some of them, the hurricane plane is out there a couple of times I've seen.
You bet.
And they let you actually look inside. That is amazing. If you want to bring your kids out to something that is absolutely mind-blowing, forget it. If you want to bring your husband out to blow his mind, don't worry about just the kids. It's absolutely
Send him on a
awesome.
one-way flight.
Exactly. Amber, you guys have been to the air show a couple of times.
I used to volunteer it for many years.
Okay. And I'll tell you what I love about the air show is you not only see airplanes, but you see helicopters. You see them demonstrating. You see these I've seen parachute guys a couple times jump out and land there. So it's definitely cool. You see a lot of veterans out there that take a lot of pride in it too. You see a lot of military planes. So we just want to tap on a couple different things. We had seen a young lady on Shark Tank this past week that she got a deal, Greg. She got a deal for an actual item that it allows you, I guess, how do you describe it, Amber? It was designed by a mom here in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and she actually struck a deal with Lori Grenier for $150,000 for 10% equity in her company. The pitch on Sunday night's episode of ABC's program, They took it. They loved it. This is actually Mosquito Bite You, which we've all been bitten by mosquitoes before, which I think I'm a favorite of theirs because when I'm somewhere, I'm guaranteed to get it.
You're just sweet.
Did you? Thank you so kindly. Did anybody see this? Did you guys get to see this little item? It's a white plastic, and it actually looks like it's how do you like a syringe-looking item with just a flat end on it, and it actually sucks the bug's poison out of your arm. Manually, you pull back on it like you would how do you describe what I'm lost for words here. Like a baby dropper, where you would put medicine in a baby dropper, and this is the process that she left it open on the end, and the idea is to suck out the bugs. I was trying to give you a better description, to suck out the bugs poison that they put in you that affects you, that causes it to itch, and this actually is proven. I guess she's had it tested. Did you get to see anything more on it, Amber? I don't know if I'm missing. It's called the bug bite thing.
I only saw a brief moment as I was kind of taking a break this weekend, going inside and cooling off. So I only kind of saw. I have it on record, so I plan to go back and definitely check out, Kelly's pitch on there.
And it goes on to say that they explain their pitch, and she had an idea from a simple product that suctions out the saliva or the venom from the bug shortly after she moved to California in 2013. She talks a little bit more of how she found a manufacturer in Denmark. She worked through the process. When you're patenting something, I must let you know that I have a lot of knowledge in patent because I actually have a patent pending item that we are still battling. And you got to know when you do this, it's a process. And as you file each filing with the patent office, it's definitely a process. So for this young lady, go ahead, sir.
Could that work for snake bite?
That's a great question, Greg.
But let's hear our fireman here.
Right.
I actually heard that product there was the primary usage for it was that like children and infants, that they swell up real bad when they get bit by a mosquito and they get those real big welts on them. I heard that product is more so pushed towards those children that they have a bad effect when the mosquitoes bite them, and whatnot. Yeah. And I heard that it is very effective and that it has worked for them. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing an episode myself.
That's great. Yeah.
To think you come from Port St. Lucie, people that are in it, people that are clearly affected. Everybody got mosquitoes. Listen, we have Jennifer on the line from Restoration America. She works for us now, but she wants to share her story with us just briefly. I wanted to ask a few questions. Jennifer, her son, I think I'm able to share that Jennifer has dealt with serious hyperallergenics, dust, mold, etc. I'm going to let her explain just briefly as we talk to her about the restoration that was done in her home as she found Restoration America. Good morning, Jennifer. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. I appreciate you calling in this morning, Jennifer. We wanted to just talk to you before you ever came to work for Restoration America, how this all came about, because your story definitely is it's intriguing to me because it's not that I'm looking for more employees, but I'm looking for people like yourself that have battled medically back and forward with the doctors, trying to figure out what the task at hand is to make your life easier with your sons and your family's allergenics. What can you tell me? How did you find Restoration America?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I am Jennifer. Glenn refers to me as Jay Brown. So if you ever hear Jay Brown, that's me. We were hit by a hurricane on our coast in September 2017. It was Irma. What I thought was minimal damage as just a regular homeowner turned out to be a little bit more. So September, I contacted the insurance company after my claim just to start a claim, and they sent out a preferred restoration company, what they called their preferred restoration company. They came out, did a whole assessment. This was over a few months. So to fast track back to about February, months and months going back and forth with the contractor and the insurance company. Again, I thought it was minimal, and it wasn't. My son started to pick up on his allergies, more and more nights on the nebulizer, more and more doctor's visits. It was about February where he was hospitalized, and at that time he was 11. He was hospitalized, and we found out that it was due to his allergies, and he has a severe allergy to mold, dust, amongst many other things.
So dealing with that, obviously very difficult in the state of Florida, especially with all of the allergies already that people deal with. On top of that, this was affecting your home, no matter how clean you kept your home, I'm assuming?
Absolutely. There was not enough cleaning. What was happening, we could not see.
Correct. And when you came in contact with Restoration America, just to explain to the people from a third party, how do we handle this? How do we proceed in a brief summary, if you could?
Okay, so after my son was hospitalized, I turned up the heat on the insurance company and the contractor. At that time, the contractor, for whatever reason, gave me references and said that he would like somebody else to do the work. Restoration America was one of the names that he gave me. It was actually the second one that he gave me out of three. I called the first, left a message. I called the second, Restoration America, and Amber picked up the phone. Immediately, Amber fast-tracked me over to Glenn, and Glenn called me that night. It was the next morning, and I remember being almost in tears on the phone with Glenn. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is what's going on. I don't know where it is or where it's coming from. So it was the next morning he came out, and that's where our journey with Restoration America started.
And since you've been back, just to get some of the summary of the physician's take and this last, if we could just share just briefly, this last testing that you went through, you had sent me an update from your doctor that was stating, since the work has been done, the results in which we're seeing in the child's blood, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so the mold was obviously growing underneath, and Restoration America did a full renovation on the house, ripping out all the carpets and getting all the mold out of the house, per se. Since that's all been completed and the dust has cleared, the construction has been done, we went back to the doctors, and his results have come back. He is no longer really on the nebulizer in case it's an emergency basis. He went from being on it daily to he no longer has to use it unless it's an emergency. He does use an inhaler, but his allergies have improved tremendously.
And, when we change people's lives by simply just doing the right thing and solidifying, you have to know behind your baseboard, behind the walls, in your shower area, behind the toilet area, run the fan in the bathroom, folks. That exhaust fan makes a difference. Not only in Jen's situation were we able to change her son's life, but her life also, from running to doctors weekly and her being in a position where they don't have an answer. How do you allow the kid to be sick and you don't have an answer and the doctor doesn't have an answer and they just want to give him more medicine? Listen, this is a mom that stopped what she was doing and tried to figure out the problem. And if she couldn't figure out the problem, she brought in professionals to find the problem. We put cameras in the wall. We put cameras behind cabinets. We looked where water feeds were. We looked at the windows. We evaluated, is something leaking? Is there something that we're not seeing? So utilizing borescopes and cameras in walls, it gives us the ability to better understand the health of the house from beginning to end. And we do an inspection in attics. You got to know that in Jen's case, it was windows. So, Jen, I want to say overall then Restoration America was able to help you in everything that we needed to do.
Absolutely.
In the restoration side, you would say you lived in the house. Did we make it livable? How did that process go? Well, you were living in the home, and I recovered it at the same time.
Yes, the whole house was renovated, so the whole house was affected in one way or another. So they just did it in stages, and we were able to just move from room to room. Nobody wants to live underneath those circumstances, of course, but everything was contained from room to room, so it minimized the effect on my son throughout the process.
Which is huge, Go ahead, please.
Yes, absolutely. But once it all cleared, and because there's just dust from the construction process, and it does take a while to get the dust out of there. Once it all cleared, the air is so much better.
So you notice the air scrubbers probably made a difference, being able to extract all the dust content. Restoration America takes a lot of pride in, we use water to contain dust. We bring dust to a zero particulate. So the least amount of particulates airborne and fallout. So we'll commonly clean everything to the T one day, turn on the air scrubbers and let everything fall out to the ground. Air scrubbers aren't creating much movement in the air. That's more extraction and cleaning it HEPA style with HEPA style filters. So that's the difference of dealing with a very educated, licensed restoration company. We use tools and equipment that make it safe to still live in these homes while these restorations are taking place. So just know that when you're having something done to your home, cross-containment, mold, cross-contamination, mold, air, dust, even if they're sawing and putting tile in, you want them to contain section off so it doesn't affect the entire house. Your AC filter, change that filter every chance you get, folks. That is relevant to your health. It's the air that you're breathing in your home. And now we're getting cooler. You know, that cool time of season's getting ready to come. I can't say fast enough. Please come our way. We're ready to get rid of some of that humidity, which we got to see a couple weeks ago, just a little touch of it. But what I would encourage you guys to know is when you go out to someone's house like Jennifer and you have a task that's unforeseen, you don't know where the problem is, Jen calling today was strictly just so you understand that we deal with very, very meticulous items. It doesn't have to be an obvious. If you're dealing with a problem and you have a question, call us. We want to try to at least answer it. If we don't have an honest answer for you factually, either my staff will contact you back or myself, or ultimately we'll get an answer from an expert answer, a fact. We're not going to give you an opinion. It's facts. And when it deals with the safety of your home, that's really the only way to approach. So, Amber, I want to talk briefly about the motorhome recovery. Greg, get ready. Motorhome recovery. Let's see it, Amber. Tell us what happened. We know. Hold on a second now. We know this has been an adventure for you. This has contained how many weekends now? 3 weekends?
On 3. My parents just got home, this past weekend. So she's probably listening. So I won't go into
we don't want to blow any surprises
details because she hasn't seen the final product yet.
The brown motorhome, right?
Did you tell her that you took all the floors out and everything?
I told her I painted it bright Home Depot orange.
Okay, all right. So you got her wondering what the heck's going on and where it is the RV, the motorhome at.
She knows it's at my house.
Okay.
She knows a few things. I kind of clued her in a little bit, that I did find some, water damage that we talked about the last weekend or last week on the floors. And I did tell her we found some mold on the front loft area. So that kind of put me behind schedule 2 or 3 days because it was black mold. And obviously there's, protocols to go.
Corrected. So with that said, your mom knows that you've taken her entire RV apart that she bought, and obviously you only told her it was a little project. So this
what started with paint and floors has turned into almost an entire
adventure, if you will.
Remodel.
Well, yes. You know what the difference
so
here
is? She's a little nervous.
This is what Amber's saying is so important that when you start a little project, we all know how this goes. We all shake our head and say, "What did I do?" Once you open it.
Pandora's
the right
box.
thing to do is take it out. Pandora's box is right. Jennifer, I want to thank you for your call this morning. And if it means anything, folks, this is a fine example of how it goes in your home. It's things you don't have control over, and usually it's the water you don't see that's the issue. Again, Restoration America being a local vendor, I'm here for 40 years. I went to Windmill Point Elementary. Anybody that's a local knows Windmill Point Elementary School all the way through, graduated Fort Pierce Central right here in Fort Pierce. I need you to know that if there's an issue coming, could happen tomorrow, we just want you to know we're on this radio show to make sure you know who to call. Like Cliff said earlier, before the show starts, he says, it's knowing who you're going to call when the problem comes that resolves it from being a problem. It's not a problem if you know who to call. You know what I'm saying, Greg? It's not one of these where people are just wondering, what the heck do I do? We've had people call 911 for water damage. Again, I want to encourage you, this is not the number to call for water damage. It would be 335-1600. But we commonly have had people call 911 because they don't know what to do. There's water pouring out of my trailer. There's water going out the stairs like a waterfall. We get there, and there's firemen in the driveway. So they don't find much entertainment in it, as I'm sure Nick could understand. But at the same time, earlier I was asking, I'm going to go back to it with Nick, but the RV, Nick, we're coming back to you on that call to the ER that I wanted you to share. But the RV, do you foresee the whole floor had to come out?
Half of the actual floor had to come out due to the water that was in the bathroom area and then the wood rot that was in the main living area. But the entire loft floor came out and part of the walls.
The project started where? What part of the RV did you start in?
The main living area, we were just doing floors. So.
And now you're 6 feet above that, taking out the deck above the driver.
Yes.
You are on a mission. Listen, folks, this is a fine example that just because you see a little area that's affected doesn't mean that there's a great deal of area or not. One way or the other, you must know that Amber found some surprises through this.
And how I found it was the carpet was a little bit discolored. So when I was up there sanding the walls, getting ready to paint, there was just a little bit of discoloration on the carpet. And I was like, I really don't like
From
the way
something
this
simple, sure.
looks. So I started pulling up, the carpet, and I was like, okay, this is a problem.
And now it's turned into a project.
A complete mold
She's taken a
remediation.
problem and calls it a project now, which is nothing wrong with that. She's doing it the right way, and that's the key. When you go to a lot of people that have our RVs, pull-behind trailers, they all see commonly these items will leak. Keep in mind, no gutters, no drip edges, things like that get wore.
Seals on the windows.
Seals
and
maintenance items that just go bad. That when you buy an RV, they never say, "Oh, you got to replace the seals in 6 years." Nobody talks about that. It's common. It's common to have to replace this whole darn thing. But at the same time, all the listeners out there, if you have a project that's going on, keep in mind what Amber said. She just was a little carpet. It was just a little this, a little that. Little projects do turn into big, but if you know the right people to call and you know the right solution to correct it, as you can hear, Amber's pretty calm about it, even though she's given up 3 weekends here trying to make it happen, and she's going to have it perfect. And in fact, her parents not only will know that it's perfect, but they will be able to see because everything has been replaced. Remember, mold is rooted. So Amber's practicing the theory that if she cuts it out, there's no room for air. There's no way for it to come back. And to fix the point of origin, most of all, meaning where's the water coming from? How do we stop it from happening again? And even before we make the repairs, we commonly will fix the point of origin or repeat the water damage. We commonly call it creating the water damage or recreating the water damage to prove that we have located the point of origin where the water comes from. Because if you can just recreate it, most of the time the insurance company likes to be able to see that also when we're filing an insurance claim on a home. In this case, it's all out of pocket. Amber's situation is a little bit different. But those people that do have concerns with mold, call your agent today. Ask your agent, do I have mold coverage? Do I have a standard mold coverage in my policy, and how much is it? Because keep in mind, folks, if you, as of July 1st, commonly these these agents are selling a policy that it's not them. It's the insurance company that they're selling their services has provided them with a program that excludes mold. So I want to encourage you, this is something to know. Call your agent today and you tell them Glenn from Restoration America encouraged you to find out, do you have mold coverage? And is there any other exclusions that have changed in the last year? So Amber, summarize me where we're at going into this weekend.
I would say it's probably 96% done. There's a few little odds and ends that need to be, touched up. And then, of course, my favorite part, which is the decorating. And then I hand the keys over and welcome my parents to the tiny house nation.
There you go.
And then they can start traveling and...
That's good. And I'm excited.
And hopefully the engine starts.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That I know does. That I know.
That's great. Hey, I'm not saying a word after that, but her husband is a mechanic, happens to be my brother, and he can make anything run. So I'll keep faith in the motor side. But you must know when I'm telling you Amber is the one doing the work with her husband. She's not sending my staff from Restoration America over to do it. Mind you, she is practicing the same methods and theory in which we do. Nick, I want to thank you for being here this morning, sharing a little bit about the program at St. Lucie County. And we send some noise out and some cheers out to all of our firemen, St. Lucie County Fire Department, Vero, Martin, Palm Beach counties, all you public service guys. Police officers, firemen, you guys are so selfless. We thank you so much. Nick, anything else you want to add this morning to all your firemen out there this morning? A little shout out?
Just want to take a minute and thank you guys for what you do each and every day. And I want to thank you guys for having me this morning on the show. I've really enjoyed myself. And
yeah, it's kind of different. We have fun here every Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Make sure you tune in at 9 a.m. every Monday morning for the Swap Shop. This is where you sell items that have been sitting for more than whatever your time. Some people say 2 years. Some people, I'll bet you have stuff sitting for 5, 7, 10 years that you have done nothing with, haven't touched it, has no use to you. Get the money out of it. The Swap Shop's a great place to sell it. So with that said, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in here to the Restoration America Home Show. I want to remind you that you can always talk to myself, Amber, Jen, any of us at the office at 772-335-1600. I just need to remind you that this is Breast Cancer Month. Do yourself a favor, folks. Contribute some way this month. Try to help somebody today, like we talked about. Contribute to this breast cancer opportunity. You know, Greg was talking about Carol doing the 5K. Amber talking about doing the Disney 5K. You don't have to do a 5K to make a difference. But what you should consider doing, if you can't help just for Breast Cancer Month, do something kind for your neighbor today. Try to reach out and do something that you normally wouldn't do.
Random act of kindness.
That's it, Amber. Say it one more time, Amber.
A random act of kindness.
This is what makes the world go around, folks. And everybody that's sitting there today hearing our voice, we want to encourage you just to take 1 minute out of your day today. And if it's that you can't do something for someone nice, maybe say something kind. Smile and share something positive. Open. You know, everybody, when you walk up, just a last minute thought. When you walk up and say something to somebody, how's your day? 90% of them bring something negative. Change that. Bring something positive to the table. Share something positive and enlightening that may make somebody else's day better. Again, my name is Glenn Smith, and I'm with Restoration America. We have Amber Smith, Nicholas Smith, and we have Greg, the boss, with us today. We are getting ready to sign off and move into our Monday. Folks, make it a kind, great day. Restoration America, 772-335-1600. Our home show's on here, so you know who to call. Whenever there's a problem, catastrophic loss, pipe leak, mold, it doesn't matter what it is. Construction needs, call Restoration America, 772-335-1600. Amber, I want to wish you a great Monday. Enjoy your week. Nick, work hard and study hard, son. I would encourage you to stay on it. And all the fire department, as we got to talk about you guys today, thank you so much. Again, remember, it's Breast Cancer Month, folks. Something nice, something kind for the neighbors. What do you got to add, Greg?
Hey, I'll tell you, if you can donate to cancer, I've had so many people just the last few weeks pass away from that. Do it. I mean, it's fun. That would be.
You never know when something's going to come close to home, folks. Do yourself a favor. Be positive. Go out into your Monday and into your week. Do something kind for your neighbors and friends. Like Amber said, an act of kindness. It's in order today. Make it a great day. Monday, Restoration America Home Show.
You've been listening to the Restoration America Home Show on WPSL, Port St. Lucie, WSTU, Stewart.